Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil and the crew.
Hello.
I am Sybil Wilkes, and welcome to Myra J, to Young Quinn, and to Stephen on the Road Hill. How are you all?
We're fine.
Good.
Spectacular.
Good, good. We
Great.
are we are truly coast to coast. Quinn's on the East Coast, Myra's on the East Coast, Stephen Hill is on the West Coast, and I am somewhere in the middle, um, which is right where I should be. So, what's going on with everybody? Steve, where are you? What's going on?
I have the best Uber ride ever. Have the best Uber driver ever in the history of ever.
Oh,
Hello.
Ah,
Make sure you get your money. Make sure you get
okay.
your money.
Oh
okay.
trust, trust me, she gonna get it.
Money.
The money.
The
The
Oh
money.
money.
right,
The
money.
money
My bad, my
too.
Right.
bad, my
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we headed to an appointment, and so this was the only way we could do this and have this happen at the same time. So I'm in the backseat of the car,
Oh,
Mm.
that's
and I
very
am
nice.
milking it. I am milking it for everything. Trust me. Why ain't you got no candies in Uber? Why ain't you got no candies in Uber?
She's like, I got your candy player.
Okay.
She do. She do. I ain't gonna lie. She do. She do. So
Oh, that's
but,
great. That's great. That's really cute. And a little role playing too while they're at it. I'm not mad
I
at
know.
that.
can I add a stop? Can I add a stop? No.
She's like,
Oh,
I got to stop for you.
okay. We're
Okay.
gonna stop this
Right,
right
right.
now.
Stop it. Stop it right now. Right.
Young Quinn, are you established? Are you situated? Are you
No,
what?
I am still apartment searching right now. I would say that I almost got a cat yesterday. I was feeling so
It's a little soon before you get that.
lonely. Yeah, I just wanted a hug. And so my mentor ended up convincing me
Oh,
like, oh, maybe you could go look for a kitten. And then I almost got one, but the store had just closed. And so
No, go.
instead I went to ATN's, I got a pretzel and I felt better.
Okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say go get a body pillow.
Oh, okay. I
That's
think
a
I
great
may actually
idea.
look into those. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
plus, go to a like an ASPCA center or a rescue center,
Okay.
for your pets too. Pet stores just don't have a great reputation these days.
Yeah, this store said that they fostered kittens
That's what they
instead of actually
say.
keeping them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'll try ASPCA.
Yeah, or one of the rescue centers. They
Oh, like the
usually have.
Humane Society stuff.
Mhm,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll look into that too. So maybe
yeah.
in a couple of weeks y'all see me with a little kitten.
Right, exactly.
Tearing up a body pillow. Yeah.
That's right.
When the body pillow was just fine, it wasn't hurting anybody. And that's really sweet. And we should talk about that because when you move to a new area and you don't know anybody and you're having one of those days and you just want a hug, and I get it. Yeah, yeah,
Literally, yeah.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
do have great news. I'm gonna be performing alongside Nikki Giovanni on July 28th in Chicago.
Very cool.
That
That is
is
major.
awesome.
Wow.
Yes.
Major,
That
major,
So when y'all
major.
see the flyer, this is just one of those moments where like not this
Wow.
an apprentice meets a goat. So I'm expecting to see my soror. She was literally Nikki Giovanni wrote a poem about chocolate, and that was the first poem that I ever said in front of my church. So this is like real full circle for me, and like my mom was
Wow.
screaming when I told her, and so this is just like it's one of those things. So I'm fortunate. God is good. So
Do
yeah.
they have a video of you doing that performance at Trinity?
I'm gonna have to. I know my sermon. My grandma has the first time I preached, so we could play that one day. But I don't know about the chocolate one.
I just think that would be awesome if you,
That would.
maybe had that to share with her after all of this
I
is
know. I
over.
did
That
get
would
her
be
an
really cool.
elephant though. I'm gonna give her some elephants because
Oh, that's
we
right.
like
That's
to
right.
get our trunks up. So, but yeah, that would have been nice.
That's a sorority thing, folks. For those of us who are GDI.
Yes, the sorority folks, the illustrious sisterhood of Delta Sigma
and,
Theta.
and shout out to former President Beverly Smith, who we absolutely
Yes.
adore. So,
Mm-hmm.
Myra J, what's going on with you?
Um, Not just dealing with news overload, trying
Hmm.
to back up from some of that, but everything's good. And I'm sure you already mentioned it, but I just want to say publicly,
I
thank you
have
so much.
I haven't mentioned a thing. I didn't
Okay.
mention a thing. So,
I will save it then.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Ooh, now I want to know.
Okay. You will just hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Just like Steve's famous Uber driver, you hold on. All right, so it is now newsletter time. The What You Need to Know newsletter, that is our Monday through Friday endeavor to super serve the African American community with news that you can use and pertaining especially to the African American community. It is absolutely free. We'd like for you to subscribe. Please go to SybilWilkes.com, give us your name and your email address, and bim, bam, boom, just like that. It can be in your email box Monday through Friday morning. Young Kwyn, let's start with you. And some fellow judges or justices are calling out Justice Clarence Thomas. Tell us about
Yes.
it.
Yes. So, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is a hypocrite, folks. Andrew McDonald, a gay Connecticut Supreme Court justice, called U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas being hypocritical and calling for reconsideration of rulings ensuring legal rights for gay people, while not calling out for the repeal of a similar ruling that allows Thomas to be married to a white woman. McDonald is
everything else but.
everything else but, right? Like, he just attacked everything else but something that protected his marital status. So
Although that
McDonald,
would be a great out for him if he. Never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
McDonald is a senior associate justice in Connecticut. He took a shot at Thomas in a Facebook post after the U.S. Supreme Court issued his ruling this past Friday. McDonald said that, okay, he wants to talk about loving but not loving, and it was in reference to Loving versus Virginia. This was a law that violated the due process clause of the Constitution's 14th Amendment, and in U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's opinion, he had mentioned all these other cases, but did not mention the fourth case that also was similar to this similar violation of the 14th Amendment, which is Loving versus Virginia. And he was very intentional about that, right? Because Clarence Thomas is married to a white woman. So he talked about gay marriage. He talked about, everything with Roe v. Wade. He talked about everything else but Loving v. Virginia. So it was very odd, and it is very hypocritical because, like I said, all these other cases are tied together. And as we know, with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, there is a high chance that other cases such as Aubrey G. Fell versus Hodges, which barred states from outlawing same-sex marriages, may be on the docket as well. So this is something for us to really pay attention to, as we all have members of LGBTQIA folks in our family and our friends that have to actually stand guard and be careful of who they want to marry. Because right now we have a Supreme Court justice that's a hypocrite and may actually think that people can't love on who they want to love on, but yet he's loving on who he wants to love on.
He wrote a concurring opinion in the Roe versus Wade turn down, overturning Roe versus Wade. He wrote his concurring opinion and said, while we're at it, let's look at gay marriage. Let's look at contraception. Let's look at sex between the same sexes and things like that. And no mention, as you said, of interracial marriage, of which he has been a partner for many years. So I just love, and I absolutely love the headline, as I told you. But this justice, Connecticut justice, is a married man. He and his partner married each other years before gay marriage was allowed, right?
Was roughly legalized. 6 years before the case of I'm probably pronouncing it Obergefell. Let's say Obergefell. Hodges actually went into place. And so Andrew McDonald had been married to his partner, who is a man, for roughly 6 years before then. So, yeah, I don't know.
It's about to be some interesting times ahead. Very, very interesting.
Very
if you
interesting
thought they were interesting, they're really about to get interesting.
And especially as the first Black female justice takes her place on the Supreme Court. So we will we'll see what happens with that. So Myra J. Anthony Brown, and George Wallace and I have one of our little text chains. And yesterday, as we were, I was working, and Myra said, "Okay, it's on. It's about to get interesting." And boy, did it. And this was in reference to the surprise hearing that was announced the day before by the January 6th committee, the committee investigating the January 6th insurrection, because they had told us last week that we're going on vacation. We got lots more for you folks, but we are good. We will be back in the middle of July. Well, not quite the middle of July, but it was hotter than July in the testimony that came out regarding this young woman who is 25, 26 years old. And she is the former executive assistant and advisor to Trump Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows. Her name is Cassidy Hutchinson. And she was there at all the days leading up to January 6th. She was there January 6th, and she lit a bomb regarding a lot of activity regarding Donald Trump and what he did and what he said on those days leading up to it, on the day when he actually, according to her, and information that she got from somebody who was in the car, who is now going to have to come before the committee to clarify what actually happened. But in her testimony, she said she was told by his head security person that he was so angry and so bent, bound, and determined to go from the ellipse to the Capitol as he promised his people. And they said, "Sir, it's not safe. We cannot do this." And he said, "We're going." And I was like, it sounded like a little kid, just really angry, so angry that according to her, and this information she got from the security guy, he tried to grab for the wheel of the beast. That's the presidential executive vehicle. He tried to grab for the wheel, the steering wheel. And he said, "Sir, you're going to have to take that off, and you take your hand off the wheel. Do not do that, sir." And then he went for the guy's neck, according to her testimony that this person allegedly told her. So among the other things, she talked about his anger, how he was so angry leading up to this day. They had to clean up his mess when he threw his lunch plate against the wall, ketchup, I guess, from all of his KFC, just all against the wall, and having to clean all of that up. And then when the people were saying, hang Mike Pence, and other people were saying, we can't allow this. He goes, well, maybe they got a point.
She gave great testimony and giving us, I guess, details that we didn't know. But to be honest, it was interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't surprised. To me, okay, we heard that a liar lied, a con man conned, a spoiled brat threw a plate upside the wall. And so I didn't hear anything that was surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad she got it out there. I guess what's getting me now is that a few, not a lot, a few Republicans are going, "Oh my God, I'm shocked. I never knew he was like that." I'm like, "You a lie. This is nothing new. This is absolutely nothing new." Even when they asked her, was this the first time you ever saw, and she was like personally, the only thing that surprised me, I thought it would have been mayonnaise rather than ketchup rolling down the wall. But other than that, absolutely none of it surprised me. But I give her kudos for coming forth and testifying. I really
Yeah.
do.
Well, the thing that surprised me most, and I was shocked by this, is that what the hell do you use ketchup for KFC? Like what? What's the actual use for that condiment? Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. I listened to what she saw directly, but what she heard from someone else, as with everybody, I'm taking with a grain of salt until that actual person comes forward.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's shocking, and if it's corroborated by the person who was actually in the beast, then we've got something. But right now, we've just got a sensational story that if it were on the other side, if someone were saying they saw something that Obama did, we would be up in arms. Full stop. We'd be
Well,
up in arms
yeah, whether he's born in
until
this country or not. Yeah, sure.
until someone came forward and said, like, I saw this myself as opposed to I was told. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe that's to come, but I want to be careful. Like, we are hearing something third hand at this point.
Well, to me, even though that story has been sensationalized, that's not the big story. The big story is that we had the commander-in-chief knowing that people were armed. And
And
he
did not
said,
care. I don't effing
yes,
care. Those are my people.
yes. Though now that she heard firsthand. Send, let them go down there. He knew that it was a
He
dangerous
he
situation,
he didn't
and he
even
gave it
want
a thumbs up.
he didn't even want any of the machinery that they use to wand people or as they go through the security. He said he did not want any of that. Whatever it is, these are my people. They're not going to hurt me, but he was counting on them hurting someone.
Yes,
What took
yes.
her so long to take the stand, or is this just because of?
Well, here's the thing, Kwyn, because she had testified before the committee 3 times. This
Mhm.
was her fourth testimony before the committee, and this was the first public. And they said time was of the essence in this. So either she was about to say, "Look, what we gonna do here," or else I'm a book, or I have a book deal, or something.
Mhm.
But they felt that they had enough information at that particular time for to stop the vacations, to stop all that they were doing, come back to Washington D.C. and put her on the stand.
Yeah, I was
Mhm.
wondering if she was like offering testimony as some type of deal. I don't know if they were like prosecuting her as well. Is this the closest we get actually to Trump on the stand now? Is she like the closest?
Well, I can't say it's the closest, but I guess in terms of situations, because Mark Meadows has not, he's given them a lot, but he has
Mhm.
not given them the testimony that she has. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. His lawyers, his military people, all of these people taking the fifth, 600
Yeah.
times during all of this. So it might be the closest that they have come to him at this
Okay.
point, unless they get Virginia Thomas, because Lord knows they were bosom buddies too.
Mhm.
Um, so, Steve, did you watch any of the Fox people? When it was, I don't know if Stephen Hill can hear us, but
Oh,
it was broadcast on Fox,
oh,
and
oh, really?
they were stunned.
Mhm.
I mean, their
Really?
reaction to this was like, "Oh my!"
Wow.
They didn't cut
Well,
off. They didn't cut off in the middle. They didn't cut off in the
No,
middle and have like a test pattern on the screen.
no, no, no,
they
no.
didn't show like puppies playing or bears in the stream or
Right, right,
something
right.
like that. No. Okay.
Or it's cut to a rally or something, but
And
no, no.
and I kept wanting to turn to Fox, but I really wanted to hear
Mhm.
everything, and I was like, dang it, if I turn this channel and I swear they're showing knitting or something, I'm gonna be so upset. So
All right.
I, I never turned.
So Quinn, I don't know about your work day at this point, but were you able to watch any of it?
No, I haven't watched anything. It's orientation here on campus at
Right.
JMU, so we've been like entertaining first years and their families.
Oh, nice. Oh, listen, we have been doing this as a member of the faculty. So, just wanted to talk about some of the possible Trump charges. They're looking at obstruction of an official proceeding, inciting a riot, seditious conspiracy, and conspiracy to defraud the United States. As a result of what they've heard thus far, and as Stephen Hill said, this is some of the information that we got from this young woman is second or third hand. But if it is if they get cooperation from security people and others, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. So
Literally want to go inside the belly of the beast to find
yeah,
out what's
yeah,
happening.
for sure. For sure, for sure. One other thing I did want to mention in the newsletter, every week we do have a feature, which is Black and Missing, and
Mhm.
we know the difficulties in getting the information out about our people who go missing. They don't get the attention, they don't get the publicity when they are missing. And this one is particularly sad. This is a young child. Um, this boy, his name is Colin Hubbard, and he is 14 years old. He's been missing since June 24th from Baltimore, Maryland. I give a description of him. He's a cute kid with locks and what have you. So please go to Black and Missing in our newsletter. And if you know anything about this young boy who has been missing for the last several days, please go to the Black and Missing Foundation website. Okay. All right. So let's take a breather here and I can't wait to get your opinions on our question of the day. This is
Okay.
something that has a bit of a personal nature to it because it's going on in our homes. And our time to ask our question of the day and what's really going on. They is he kissing the driver? Is he kissing the driver?
No.
Were you kissing?
No.
Yes, yes, you
Yes,
were.
Okay.
you are.
Yes, you are. Yes, you were. Kiss the
No.
driver. Um,
You don't do that in an Uber. That's bad form.
depends on who the driver is, apparently.
That's why I take Lyft.
So the question of the day is: they, whoever they are, say that pornography is everywhere. Everyone is watching porn. Not me. I fall asleep on porn. It does nothing for me. But that's not the issue. That's not the question. I'm not asking about you. The question is, and especially as adults, if you have young people in your house who are watching porn, what would you do or what are you doing if you are faced with this in your home? Myra J, having raised a son, I'm not sure what the porn situation was in Myra's household with young Michael, but you know, it seems as though there's free porn. You don't have to pay for it anywhere, from what I've heard, and so and it's younger and younger and younger kids are starting to get into this, and there's a lot of online sexting and what have you. And so I'm just curious, and from our listeners and viewers as well, if you have this going on in your home or you know of someone who has, what are you doing? What have you seen done to help in the conversations that you're having, and how do you stop it or do you encourage it to just because you know what's the answer here?
Well, I think it's a situation where you need to have the talk. Okay, just let me preface this with my son is 47 years old, so it's been a minute since I've been concerned about him watching porn in my home. Okay, but
Well, he's just down the hall.
Michael, turn the TV down. Okay, so but I will say I remember when I first got cable, and he may have been eight or something. Back in the day when you first get cable and you're so excited. And I remember I was up all night, and it was like a Sunday night, and I got up in the middle of the night, and I noticed he was in the living room watching television, and he had to go to school, and I was like, turn the TV off, go to bed, blah blah blah. So we get in the car. I said, what were you watching? And he was like, channel 87 or something. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. It was the Playboy channel, as I found out. So my son at age 8 was just getting a face full of tatas back in the day. And so it is conversations you need to have, because it's so much easier for them to access now. You can try to do parental blocks, but kids will find. I think streaming porn now is comparable to Playboy back in the day. Because
Mm.
back in the day, guys were like, "Ooh, I saw a centerfold," and that was a big deal. And things have advanced. And I'm sure, Stephen, you can elaborate. You can elaborate on that. But I would really just try to have serious conversations about what they just aren't ready for.
Myra, what if this was your daughter and she was watching porn as a teenage girl? Would you have that same kind of you have young girls in your family, your nieces and what have
Mm-hmm.
you? Would you
Mm-hmm.
have that same conversation?
Oh, oh, yes, and absolutely. We had a situation with her, because they get online, and she was actually lying about her age, and blah 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 blah, and we had to have several conversations with the young man, like, look, we
Oh,
don't
okay.
know what she told you, but this is a child, and the situation actually got very ugly, where he ended up getting arrested.
Mm.
And yeah, because he was just taking things too far, and we took her to a police station to have a talk with a female officer, just to talk about things that are real. You know, like this is what they say, this is what they mean, and this is what could happen. And those, I, I'm really about just being honest.
Sure. Yeah,
You
you
know,
keep it
with
real.
those, yeah, with those conversations, and that's what I had to do. So I would have a for real conversation, and part of that conversation would be how so many times how women, particularly women, are abused in those pornography movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Young Quinn, how about you?
I don't have any children. Um,
We
What if it was your cat?
what? Oh my God!
I
Oh
feel
my God! Oh my God!
No, it's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too
Okay,
easy.
okay,
It's
okay.
too
You're right.
easy.
You're right.
Don't
You're
do it.
right.
It's too easy.
I,
What if it was your niece or nephew?
I mean,
Say,
I
say
will
12 or
say
13 years old,
I will say I don't know
or a
what free
friend.
porn sites there are, but I will say that I was one of those children that was on, like online virtual chat rooms when I
Mm-hmm.
was in elementary school, and then in high school. There was a website called like Coca-Cola Music and like Habbo Hotel and like all these different clubs where you could create avatars and just like go on these virtual dates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what age guys I was meeting. Like we never actually met online. My mom really forced us to watch too much 60 Minutes, so I never went to the detail of like, oh yeah, this is where I live. Yeah, I'll sneak out the window type stuff. But I did entertain the fantasy. In terms of like,
Did you have the conversations with them where you guys were
there
being
was no
sexually
conversation about sex
productive?
with my mom. It was
Okay.
like, okay, you get sex, you get pregnant, you get kicked out. So it's like, what do you want? Like the following. So it was always like, I was congested with the idea of not forced virginity, but like forced, just closed legs, like up
Mm-hmm.
until, like I was 18. But that didn't mean closed mouths, but
Which is a whole nother act. Yes.
so when it comes to porn, like if I do, I don't know. I feel like in the future, I would want to be able to have that conversation with my child at that age. Like I would want to, but also, really encourage them to come talk with me before they even get really curious, like entertained by it. Because I feel like what people consider porn is really like a video of Megan Thee Stallion like twerking, and I don't consider that porn.
Right.
So I don't know like what free porn and like sexual stuff like folks are really talking about that's just easily accessible nowadays, because I don't really see it. Because I still feel like, especially today, that sex is confusing to children. So I would like to unconfuse and clarify some stuff, because that was that. But yeah,
I commend you for being that forthcoming about what you were doing at that age, and because a lot of people will not admit that and kids lie.
yeah.
They will
Especially when
lie.
you have older siblings too. Like I went to my older sibling before I ever, talked to my mom. I went to my cousins. I went to my best friends before you ever go to my, because you don't see. I think at that age you don't really see your mom or your parent as someone you can talk to about that, because it really is something not shameful, but like just it's silence. Like sex is not talked about, I feel like, in Christian households. So I'm grateful that now I can have that conversation with my mom, but I'm curious what type of conversations would have had when I was like at 10 years old.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "Girl, what? You want to talk about what?"
You told him to do what to you? Yeah.
I remember when I heard what bobblehead in '69 was, and I asked like my older sister first, and they told me, and I was like, "Wow!" And I was like, "Maybe I should go ask mom." And they said, "Quinn."
I remember having a conversation.
I didn't even know what DSL was until somebody told me. I was like, "Wow, people are creative."
I had a conversation with my granddaughter. I actually asked her mom, "Can I take her out to have this conversation?" And she was like, "Yeah." We were out, and we discussed everything. Like, he will say, "Can I put the head in?" We talked about everything from oral sex, blah 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 blah. And she was probably in 7th or 8th grade, and I can still see that look on her. When I tell you, she was sitting there like a mannequin, and I don't know if she was shocked from the information or if she was shocked that the information was coming from her grandmother. But it was just like,
right.
she was just almost horrified, like, what? But I just thought it's just best to have those conversations as opposed to learn as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when you bring up abuse and stuff. I think
Mm-hmm.
the really messed up part is that as children, we are sexualized at a very, very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that my body was so mature that my mind couldn't keep up. And
Yeah,
I always feel as if like other people knew what to do with my body before I even knew what my body was.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
I do wish my mom sat me down like, Kwyn, you are a thick girl. People see this, like you need to value your body, whatever, whatever.
Yeah, my mom had to have those conversations with me too. I understand absolutely. Stephen Hill, before we lose you to your Uber driver,
No, no, my Uber. No, I literally said, "Hey, Uber driver, can you pull over for a while? Because I want to make sure I'm getting in part of this." So we're in a stable location,
okay.
fully stopped.
So Steve, talk to us as a guardian of a teenage boy, and having been a teenage boy, and from your perspective,
I
what's this?
shall.
What's going on?
So, uh, I I feel like I was a sexual being very very early. Didn't have sex, but like
Mm,
I was very aware of it and very loved women's bodies and what I saw early. It may have had something to do with all the stack of Playboys that was in my dad's in our basement. I knew exactly where they were, and I would sneak down there. And as an adult, I find it difficult to believe that neither parent knew what I was doing
mm,
down and just watching. And you're right, Myra was like, "Oh, the centerfold, right?" So, but no words about it, right?
mm-hmm,
I had a pornographic book one time. This is when I'm in eighth or ninth grade. I don't remember how I got the book. It was a pornographic book, like literally a novel about. And then it. Uh, I packed it to go on a vacation on my own suitcase. My mother found it when she unpacked it.
ah,
Never said a thing about it. Never had any words about it. Just it's as if it didn't exist. I found the book later where she tried to hide it. I took it back. All of these things are true. Uh, my parents had in their nightstand. There was, I forget whose side it was on now. That would tell me a lot. I wish I could remember.
yeah,
The Joy of Sex. Remember the Joy of Sex?
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
had the illustrations. I would go sneak in there. Never. My sexual education was being thrown a series of books that were called The Life Cycle, right? That was it. Like,
mm-hmm,
read these. So there's literally, as I remember it, no conversation about this with my parents and myself.
right, right,
Uh,
Yep. Me either.
uh, uh, so all that to say, I feel like I'm starting at lesson zero with my faithful ward, Jaden. Like I'm
mm,
starting at lesson zero. Who showed the reason Jaden and I got together is because his mother was concerned because he was asking about things like puberty when he was 9 years old.
mm-hmm,
Um, he still hasn't figured out that I kind of have access to a lot of his data and photos. And so he's gone through a anime phase where he likes the drawings of naked women. So
right,
all that to say is I let him know, like, hey, this is your attraction to women is natural. Your desire to see a naked body, naked woman's body is natural. If you're watching porn, I've never seen him. Well, no, that's not true. I did get a porn thing off his computer. I'm like, you need to know, number one, in a number of ways, uh, these are actors. These are actors going through this. This is not anything real any more than you believe that someone gets killed in a movie. You shouldn't believe that this person who's screaming with pleasure is really enjoying this. This is not.
mm,
It is acting. And then when you act on your own feelings, it's really everything with this and everything else is all about respecting the person that you're with, right? That's everything, right? Respecting and understanding that no means no, and knowing when to listen, and candidly knowing when to listen for yes as well, but understanding that no is your starting point,
mm-hmm.
and respecting the person you're with. So I didn't mean to take up a lot of time, but
No,
I wanted you to understand that, like, coming from that's the background I came from. So I had no real education on how to pass this forward, but I truly believe that, like,
so
visual
when,
entertainment is always going to be one thing for a guy, but
yeah,
how you translate it to how you act towards someone else is the
mm-hmm,
most important is the more important part to come out of it,
yeah.
right? Right?
Did you?
Have fun with yourself. Have fun with yourself. Watch pictures. Have fun with yourself. It's natural. Never feel bad about that. It's when you turn this on to how you deal with the other person that's important.
And engaging that person via some sort of online community is a concern in a situation that I'm aware of. And so this 12, 13-year-old and having these conversations with males, and it's a difficult place to be. I would like to return to this at another time if we can. We have run out of time, but I appreciate you
See, I
all.
told you I took up too much time.
No,
Sorry
no,
about
no,
that.
no,
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 no.
no.
I
You
think
all
it's
you
good.
all took up just the right amount of time and
Good.
sharing with us. I really appreciate that.
Mhm.
And never has a man apologized for taking up too much time to me.
Ha!
So okay. All right, let's move to topical discussion. And Myra, I did want to talk with you about what happened with us last Saturday night. I was very fortunate to be in the house Saturday night in Atlanta with Myra J. and working with the two jesters in her court, J. Anthony Brown and George Wallace. And then, of course, there were more people. They knew that you guys were there, and others came. Huggy Lowdown performed as well. DC Curry, Don DC Curry was there, and of course, Tom Joyner was holding court in the back of the club. So it was quite a night. It really was. It was very special. How did you feel, Myra?
I felt really, really good. The show was so much fun. But one of the best things I think somebody said was that they looked around and saw all of us and said, "Wow, this feels like the Fantastic Voyage. All that's missing is
Mm.
the ocean."
Hmm.
Just yeah, because it was the first time since the pandemic that
Yeah.
many of us had seen each other and just
Right.
gotten together and just clowning and laughter, laughter, laughter. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was good times. Thank you so much for your support, Sybil. That meant a lot.
Oh, it was great. I was absolutely so happy to be there. And I want to give a shout out to folks who watch us on the regular. Myra, our good friend Gwen, watches us on her way home from work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Z Miller and Liesel also watch the live show on a regular basis. And so we want to thank them for that, amongst the other people. So it was just really good. It's like, oh, we watch the show every week, or
Mm-hmm.
every day, or whatever it is. So it was great. Stephen Hill, tell us about the BET Awards. I was looking for you.
I thought it was spectacular. It was a lot of fun. Lots of surprises. Uh, so those for those people who don't understand why it was cool when Brandy came out on on
Oh,
Jackson.
Harlow.
But was that so? Jack Harlow was on a radio show and said it was a big thing. He didn't know that Brandy and Ray J were related, right? And so he didn't recognize Brandy's music and didn't know they were related. And so there's a whole thing, and it became a social media thing. And so for Brandy to come out and Jack Harlow, that was dope. I may have hinted last week that I was doing something with the BET Awards,
Hmm.
and I was one of the people behind the Mariah Carey showing up on with Lotto.
That's what
So
I wanted to know.
we
Yeah.
we were we were we were working on that. But I thought look, it was extremely black. It was indeed culture's biggest night. I
Yeah.
think they caught a groove about being earnest, black, entertaining, and really forward thinking at the same time. I thought their shout outs to people who were doing really good in the streets was
Hmm.
spectacular, and it was great to see everybody on Puff's performance as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you explain Kanye still?
Yeah, Candidly, I can. Candidly. So I heard
I am your
I was in the
father. No.
house. I was in the house, so I didn't hear how it hit the microphone like that. But
Hmm.
it was pretty bad. Look, he's someone who just wants to disappear for a while and came out
Hmm.
to honor Puff. Like that,
Hmm.
he kind of said it. Like I just want to disappear for a year.
Hmm.
And so it would not surprise me not to see Kanye anywhere except in paparazzi getting photos for another 10 months or so.
Yeah.
But it was earnest. It was heartfelt, and sometimes you forget how much Puff has done and how he moved hip hop forward at a certain point, and
Right.
really tackled so many different industries where, candidly, fashion before Sean John, there was not a lot of black folks allowed it, not allowed, but like welcome in fashion and at
Right.
that level. So
That's true.
so kudos.
Yeah, it was a good show, and kudos to Puff for his donations that he announced to
Right?
Howard and to Jackson State. I thought that was really cool with Deion Sanders, and so it was really cool.
Yep.
I know a lot of people have been waiting for this conversation, and I am here for it, Stephen Hill. Oh, one more thing before we move on. I did want to make mention of the loss of a member of our radio family,
Mm.
Mitch Faulkner, who was the voice of many a radio station, many a TV show, many of concert series. Mitch Faulkner made his transition this week, and his services will be held a week from Friday on the 8th of July. Mitch Faulkner was just the voice. He was a radio
Mm-hmm.
veteran,
Yep.
imaging and
Cool guy.
production specialist. A lot of folks knew him from the Atlanta stations, but his voice was so much more in scores of radio stations across the country, and if not across the world. And he served as a voice talent for local and national radio stations and ad campaigns. He started his career as a volunteer disc jockey in his home state of Kentucky, moved around to Houston and Louisiana and places like that, and found his home, found his place in Atlanta. And Myra, I know you and Mitch were friends. Um, it was I knew that he had been ill, but I didn't
Mm.
know
I didn't either.
it happened like this.
Yeah. It was a shock to everybody. They honored quite a few people in radio here in Atlanta just 2 weeks ago. I wasn't there, but I do know that Mitch was one of the people that they honored as the voice,
Hmm.
and they had declared a Mitch Faulkner Day and the whole thing. So I'm so glad he got his kudos, and he's a big motorcycle guy.
Yeah.
He loved to ride his motorcycles, and we kind of had this ongoing joke because when he would invite me down to be on his Saturday night show, he would always say, "But don't look in her eyes because she can possess you." He said she's here in the studio, and he would be talking and he would be looking down. He would look at her. He said just don't look up in her eyes because she got special powers. And I'm like, he wouldn't look in my eyes, and he couldn't get me on the back of a motorcycle. I was like, nope, not gonna happen. It's ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, he. A lot of folks may remember him as his voice of the Universal Circus, rather.
Circus. Mm-hmm.
He was also he was one of the signature voices for the Janet Jackson Control Tour,
Mm.
and also some of the early Tyler Perry plays. And so
Yeah.
he was
And
just
he was the voice. He was the voice of WILD in Boston when we were a small daytime station, and
mm,
Wow.
really couldn't afford him. And
Wow.
took my phone call, and I explained our plight and everything else. But I'd loved his voice that I'd seen, and he was kind enough to work with us. I've never forgotten that. We I hadn't talked to him in a number of years, but he voiced a private event for me once,
mm,
just on the just one of the nicest,
Yeah.
kindest, just
yeah,
one of the night. And
yeah.
I didn't know it until you told us
I'm so
a minute
sorry, Stephen
a minute
Oh.
and
Hill. I'm
47
sorry.
seconds ago.
I am
Because
so
Mm.
sorry.
no good. My Uber driver is inappropriately and yet still appropriately massaging my leg to make me feel better because she can see I'm gonna do it.
Oh.
So
Can't wait till your fiance finds out about this.
I don't think every Uber driver should do that, but she's alright to try that thing.
It's
That's
stopping at the knee, I hope. Okay.
that's why I take Lyft.
Okay.
Sit up, sir.
So it happened today. The sentencing of R. Kelly, 30 years for his federal sex crimes, um, following his conviction on 9 federal charges, including sex crimes and human trafficking. This was at the federal courthouse in Brooklyn. The judge, Ann Donnelly, announced his sentence, bringing a close to one of their most highest profile criminal prosecutions in years. And
He's on his way
still,
to Chicago.
he's coming to Chicago and has a case in Minnesota as
Mm-hmm.
well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Hill, what are you thinking?
Here's what I am. I'm overjoyed that this happened, and part of it, and I'm going to be completely honest, is guilt. Guilt
Mm,
that I was in an industry that kind of helped him along, right?
mm,
And and it's and Bree what was the channel that had the documentary on?
A
Bree is the one who's
Lifetime.
doing me.
Lifetime, I
Bree
think it
and
was.
Dream Hampton and
Mm-hmm.
Bree, who worked for Lifetime, put the pieces together in a way that no one else had. And once they were, like, it was. I hated that I had any role in facilitating his success, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
feel guilty about that. So part of my cheer is not to absolve myself, but like, oh, thank goodness that he was done. Part of the approach, and I'll shut up. Part of the approach was he kept getting off on these cases, right? He kept
Mm-hmm.
getting acquitted,
Yep.
and we're in the position of like, well, black men have been unnaturally and wrongfully convicted, and so who am I to like convict him when he's been acquitted? Like, it would be wrong for me to do that, and I could not have been more wrong in some of the decisions around that, and I
Mm-hmm.
own it, so I'm extremely glad the 12 play turned into 30.
As we see there with your moniker there, your label. Myra, what do you think?
Oh, I too, I immediately went online just to see feedback. Uh, a lot of people agreed with it. I agree with it. I'm looking forward to him being sentenced to more time. And I have said this before, being fully honest. I was raped and sexually abused for years as a child, so I have zero tolerance for people like that. Zero. But in his case, it's just like Stephen said, he kept getting away with it and he kept doing it, which is
Mm-hmm.
what predators do so many times. They don't believe fat meat's greasy, so they just keep going back to that well. And as black people, we need to stop saying, oh no, they only giving him that time because he's a black man. Black men
No,
commit crimes as well, and we need to value black women because
Our
we
girls.
don't deserve that.
That's right.
We don't deserve to be abused and sexually abused by anyone, and people need to be held accountable. So he needs to just go ahead and get that prison quiet together because it's a wrap.
Yeah.
yeah,
Quinn.
well, good.
No, go ahead, Steve.
No, please,
I didn't want. I do want Quinn to chime in here.
Oh
please.
yeah, go ahead.
No. I was going to talk about the unfortunate truth that money got him out of a lot of these situations, because
Mm-hmm.
people who were victims, who were members of his family,
Right.
took payoffs
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to and it could have stopped earlier there, because had any of them testified, the challenge with all the acquittals was because
Right.
people would not testify because they got paid off.
That's
So
right. That's right. Young Quinn, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm hoping now officially they won't play his music anymore at the cookouts, and I'm hoping that I never hear his music anymore at the reunion. Just like Myra for announcing like her survivorship, I'm a survivor as well of sexual abuse. And so for this to be some type of shining light example, not only for us to believe Black women the first time, but I think to believe Black women from South Side of Chicago, from impoverished areas, because I feel like a lot of times when it comes to the perfect victim, we kind of look for a woman that didn't wear a short skirt, a woman that wasn't asking for free tickets, or a woman that wasn't doing this. And all these were young girls. And when we talk about sex, this is why it's important for us to talk about sex, but also talk about power. So you
Yes, because
have
that's what
a
it's about.
celebrity
And
that's like,
money.
hey,
Yep.
I
Yep.
want to make you a star. And there's a
Right.
parent that is, desperate economically, that is desperate socially. There should be some type of cue for some type of red light. Like, we always want to talk about, like, okay, this is that type of green light. This is a good thing to look up for. But we should also pay attention to predators and how they prey on Black women, young Black women specifically, when they know they are trying to better themselves and better advance themselves. So, especially being a Kenwood Academy High School graduate, like, all of this,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's completely unnerving. It was nauseating. I hope nobody ever talks about Bill Cosby anymore. I hope we can just like really talk about predators
But here's
now.
the thing, Quinn. I think we do need to talk about it because they're still out there.
Absolutely, yes,
And
yes.
so these particular ones you may not want us to talk about, but we still have to engage and educate our young people about this, both on from a male as well as a young female
Oh yes,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean
perspective.
don't talk about them? I mean, do not position them in a place
Got
or
it.
in a picture
Yeah.
without that's actually tainted.
Got
That's
it.
what I mean.
Got
I
it.
want people, if they're going to talk about R. Kelly, I want them to talk about how he's a predator. If
Yeah.
they're going to talk about Bill Cosby, I want them to actually put it alongside rapists. If we're going to
Mhm.
talk about all of these different type of people, I need people to actually name like their actions
Mhm.
without saying some type of conspiracy, like, oh, it's because he was about to buy PBS, or oh, it's because
Right. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
I
man
get
was strategic in his sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing he was strategic about, and that's
bottom
it.
line.
So, yeah.
I get it. I get it. I just wanted to be clear there because this goes on. This just goes on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. As we move now into our entertainment section, Myra, I don't know what part you played in the reboot, but Jacob Lattimore says that House Party reboot is going to be delayed even longer.
Oh Lord.
Myra J was in. Was it the original House Party or House Party 2?
Original house party. I think I had 6 words. So don't go looking at it thinking you're gonna see me. I'm like this.
Quinn is gonna go look.
No,
You
I
know?
really am gonna go look now. I really 100%. Which scene were you dancing with Tisha Campbell?
I was in the dance scene when full force I think was chasing chasing
Kid
kid
is so
kid and
fine.
play. Yeah,
He's so
yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. So, I wanted you to know that the reboot has a lot of folks talking about it, and the star of the film was on a recent podcast, Jacob Lattimore. He said it won't be coming out this summer the way people had hoped that it would. He said there have been some executive changes at the studio that's putting the movie out and pushing the release back to sometime next year.
Oh.
I know. So,
Man.
and he talks about the great LeBron James and how great it was to work with him and admired his work ethic and all of that and watching him work the crazy hours during their all night shoots and things like that. Do you have those kind of memories too, Myra, of the original?
Oh my God! It was just so much fun. It was. I want to say it wasn't my first time on film, but it was up there. My first time was Robert Townsend's partner in crime, but
Oh, right.
but it was just one of those things where they were like, okay, we're gonna shoot this scene, and the camera's gonna come, and you say something. So yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so it's not like I was a thespian at home studying my lines. It was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well, what am I going to say? Well, it depends. I don't know what this person is going to say. So it was a lot of freewheeling. But Robin Harris was just the
Mm.
sweetheart, and he would so many of those lines he was ad lib, and it was just freaking hilarious, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience.
And that was your whole relationship with Robin too. Yeah, the back and forth that you all developed that you had and
Yes,
worked
yes, we had a
together.
witty little banter going back and forth.
And for those of you who have not seen it, please go and see Fat Tuesdays as well. Our friend Guy Tori's production on Amazon Prime. I can get a sense of the greatness of Myra J. and Robin Harris and other folks in that wonderful time where Fat Tuesdays was the place to be, the day and the time to be there. So the last thing I want to do is Stephen Hill, before we go to our daily inspiration. I was wondering if your Uber driver could sing a little something and close us out. I
The
know you.
funny thing is, no, here's the funny thing is, she's actually there listening to this, but it's on delay, so she hasn't heard your question yet. I'm gonna wait for that. I'm just gonna wait until she actually hears the question. In the meantime, I would like to talk. No, I have nothing else to say. I
She
got
may
nothing.
want
I got
to
nothing.
sing the song that Jay closed out with. I don't know.
They are asking is this a singing Uber? Is this they're asking if there's a singing
Singing
Uber?
Uber driver. Yes.
Depends on how I get paid.
It depends on
Hello. Hello. Okay. All
I
right.
knew that there was money
you could
involved in
hear
that
that.
I
car.
didn't say money. I didn't say money, Myra.
We
You
need that
wa-
quiet money, as they say.
you warble a little something. I got George Washington could come talk to you.
George Washington. The
he's
heck?
on he's on a
No, no,
quarter.
sir. I wouldn't sing for that. George
George Washington.
Washington.
That's right.
You need to be naming some of them unknown presidents that I need to be.
For folks who don't know, Steve's Uber driver has been his lovely and wonderful fiance, Shantae Moore. Hello, hello, Madam Uber
Well,
driver. How are you?
now, now she's all confused because she's hearing me live.
Right, right,
So she's going, this is,
She
That is
doesn't
so
see this
funny.
part yet with us
and she's
waving.
Hello,
Now she
darling.
and
does.
she's driving at the same time.
I am not driving right
She's
now.
driving at the same
She,
time. It's
Okay.
kind of
you
crazy.
said that she had pulled over to have her way with you. That's what you
That's
told
right.
us.
But hi.
Let's get you live. Let's get you to live.
Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi,
Hello,
darling.
Hello.
hello.
Hello,
Okay, that's
beautiful.
better. Hi, how y'all doing?
We're great. It's good to see you.
It's
Thanks for
good to
joining
see
us.
you
Okay.
too. For
Oh.
sure. I'm happy I could be his lovely chauffeur. And
Okay.
he's gonna pay me, but not with
Oh yeah, oh
George
yeah.
Washington.
I hear you. I hear you. High
Okay.
five on that, sister.
Or
That,
Benjamins.
Mhm.
Just there's other things. There's other
Yeah.
currency we can use.
yes.
So we warbling or no? No, we don't warble. What do you want to warble? You want to warble? Give him a note. Give him a note.
I
Well,
hear you here and then him there.
right. I know. I know. I know. So let's close out, Steve, because we do have that time delay, and I'm going to
Okay.
close
Yeah.
out with the daily inspiration. There's a
Okay.
time for everything, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, or a time to sing. I'm not sure. But in the meantime, let us breathe and let us have a great day. Thank you all so much. I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. It's been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.